This is Amy Chan from CakeDecoratingSchool.com, and if you like cake decorating, you're in the right place. In this video, we're going to cover 5 common problems we see beginners face and how to fix them. It's broken down into steps, so you can skip ahead, rewind, and rewatch as desired. For this lesson, we're using a single bag. It's a 12-inch disposable. We've loaded it with some extra buttercream. It's just a little bit of extra pink I had on hand. The color's not important. And I've got a coupler on it because I'm going to be changing tips while I'm demoing. So I'm using a 3, a 6, and a 21. But really, if you want to practice some of these, any round tips and any star tips will do. Our first problem is uncontrolled frosting, and this is typically at the start of a technique, and it's about how close or far away you are from the surface. And so a lot of times it's just a matter of adjusting the position of your bag. So we're going to do a demo of this just with a few different things. So think lines, stars, and dots because they're all really common beginner techniques. Now, when I do a line, typically I want to touch the surface. That allows me to control where my line starts. So if you're maybe a little timid or scared and you're afraid to touch your cake, which I see happen a lot, you might just be hovering above. That means when you squeeze, you can't control where that frosting is. So it's going to do whatever it wants to while you're making your line. And you can see I ended up with a little shepherd's hook instead of an actual line. I can't control where that is because I'm not close enough to, in this case, touching the surface when I start. To fix that, make sure you're actually touching the surface. That way, when you pull up and start making your line, you've got a nice controlled start to it. And that's going to help ensure a clean look. For stars, this looks a little different. When we're doing stars, we don't have to touch the surface, but we do have to be close to it. If we're not, we end up with something different. Looks a little more like a rosette, but not really. When you see that happen, it's a good indication that you need to lower that tip down, get closer to the surface. That way, when we make our star, we get a nice full star, and you can see I'm fully in control of where that frosting is going. For dots, it's similar to those stars. If I'm not close enough, all I'm getting is a little coil there that looks a bit more like a pretzel. So same fix here. We want to lower down so that when we squeeze, that frosting connects right away and balloons out for us. That way we make a nice, beautiful dot. Problem number 2 is a buildup at the start of the skill. And a lot of times what happens is you just need to work on your timing. So if we're starting a skill and doing something like a line and we're not moving right away, you're going to get a very pronounced dot, buildup, coil, or something right there at the start of that line. So it doesn't look clean. The fix for this is to move as soon as you start squeezing. So this is a matter of timing. Some skills require immediate movement, kind of simultaneous action. You're starting to squeeze and move at the same time. And that can be a little scary at first. So it might take a little practice to get there, but you will. Shells are also a skill that require you to move as soon as you start piping. And you can see if I hold to begin with, before I make my shell, it ends up being a little more of a snail shell than the shell that we're looking for. You get that wiggle at the beginning that ruins the look of your technique. When you see that happen, make sure you're lifting right away as you go. And you can see then our frosting folds over the way it is and we get that beautiful look we're going for. Our next problem is breaks in our line. And if you have a lot of experience, it actually becomes hard to do. There's 2 possible causes for this. It could be air bubbles, or it could be that you're moving too hard, fast, / not squeezing hard enough. If you think it's air bubbles, if you get typically a little bit of a pop, you almost feel it, and your line might flick to the side. That's a good indication it might be a little air in your frosting. Try emptying out your bag, deflating it gently by mixing it kind of softly, think folding it with your spatula, reloading it and burping your bag and going again. Sometimes if you've got a batch that's got a lot of air bubbles, it just happens and deflating it can help. If you think it's just because you're moving too fast, which you can see I kind of intentionally went really fast there to force that break, you can see I get that little tapered look at the starts and ends of those two lines in the space. And this means I just need to slow down. The other solution is squeezing harder, which isn't always possible. Our fix for this is just moving slower. Especially to begin with, this is the easiest way to go. Squeezing harder isn't always going to be a possibility, especially if you're just starting out, because that requires you to build up hand strength. So just slowing down your movement and giving that frosting enough time to come out of your tip will fix your problem with breaks. Our next problem is going to be the wiggles or an irregular look to what you're doing. So if we're piping a line and we're not moving fast enough, you can see I no longer get a straight line because I'm forcing out too much frosting, and I get wiggles and curls. This could also look like bumps or buildups depending on what you're doing. To fix this one, we just need to change the rate of movement. We just need to move a little faster so that we get a straight line instead of curly cues. Problem number 5 is sloppy finishes. And when we're doing a line, if we don't finish it cleanly, what we'll see is a little tail. To fix that issue, there's 2 things we want to do. We want to make sure that we're touching, so fully making contact with the surface, and releasing pressure on our bag before we're pulling away. And you can see that gives us a nice clean end to our line. For stars, if we don't release our pressure on our bag when we pull away, we get a spike. To fix this, we want to make sure that when we finish our star, we reach that nice size, we completely release our pressure on the bag before we pull up. And that's going to give us a nice clean finish on the top. Dots are another one where you don't need to touch the surface to finish, but you do need to release your pressure on the bag. And if you don't, you're going to get a little Hershey kiss. So just like with our stars, when we pipe our dots, we want to hit that nice, beautiful full size, release our pressure, and in this case, instead of pulling up, just circle around to get that nice, beautiful finish to it. We hope you enjoyed this video where we covered 5 problems that we see beginners encounter frequently when they're just starting piping and our quick fixes for them. If you enjoyed this lesson, maybe try checking out some of our masterclass series. We hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It truly supports our channel and helps us share more in-depth cake decorating lessons. Want to level up your skills? Our yearly membership has certificate programs from beginner and up. Learn more at cakedecoratingschool.com.